Hello and welcome. The 5.3 banners for both Phase 1 and Phase 2 have dropped, so we now know the 4 stars who are coming in both Phase 1 and Phase 2, as well as the weapon banners. So I wanted to jump on and have us take a look. So let's check it out. Alright, so we see here with Malika and Sitlali, we will have Bennett, Diona, and Kachina. Kachina makes sense being a Natlan character. She hasn't been around since 5.0. Bennett is universally useful as an attack buffer, so if you're newer and you don't have Bennett maxed out already, you can look forward to getting constellations for him. Notably for him, Constellation 1 helps his attack buff and heals remove the restriction, and when you get his burst 3 levels, that's really helpful, so you get the thumbs up buff there. Diona is Cryo Shielder, who also has healing. Her shield's fairly weak, but she does a good job. She pairs pretty well with Sacrificial Bow, good Cryo Battery, pretty useful, and at Constellation 6 gives an Elemental Mastery buff. Kachina being Geo, not necessarily going to see a ton of use in a lot of teams, although in this current Abyss, hey, she can break the Wolf Lord heads. She holds her own, and her constellations pretty much all just revolve around giving her more damage, which is good because her numbers aren't terribly high. But if you like Kachina, you can power her up, so that's good. Of course, Sitlali's banner is the same, and then we have the weapon banner. Now, this weapon banner, we had the stats released a couple of days ago for both the 5-star weapons, and long story short, they're pretty great. So if you're wishing for them, we're interested in the 4 stars. Will you get value out of this? And this looks to be an okay weapon banner. We've got Favonia's Codex, which is useful in just a couple of characters. You wouldn't usually use it on most, but someone like Charlotte or Cloud Retainer really appreciate the energy and the Favonia's procs there. Sometimes you can throw it on someone like Mona if you're not using Thrilling Tales or something like that. So it's good to have a couple of them on your account. Favonius Lance. It's always good to get copies of Favonius weapons, specifically Favonius Lance. High refinement. I like to have 2 or 3 on an account at high refinement, level 80 or so, just to be around. Universally useful. Someone like Zhongli, Chevreuse, Yao Yao, Rosaria, tons of characters use it, and you might have multiple polearm users on different sides of the Abyss and whatnot, so it's handy to have a couple around. Sacrificial Sword is very nice for the likes of Sing Shou and Chi-Chi, and can be used on Lynette and Karara, and really anyone who needs that energy recharge and that skill refresh can help battery your team as well. Can also be used on someone like Kazuha if you don't have Favonius in a pinch, right? So it is pretty useful. Stringless is a decent bow, very effective on Fischl, especially at Refinement 5, so picking up extra copies there is pretty good. The Lithic Blade there, the Claymore, not terribly useful. It empowers with Liwa characters, so that's kind of a bummer, but we would kind of expect that from time to time. Now, since it is Lantern Rite, we will also have the Phase 2 reveal, so we'll go ahead and pull those up. And here we see on Arlecchino and Clarin's banner, we will have Rosaria, Chevreuse, and our new Animo Shielder, Lanyan. We'll start with Lanyan. She's an Animo Shielder. They revealed some details about in the live stream. Pretty cool looking animations from Liwa. Our first Animo Shielder. She can actually infuse the elements that she comes in contact with to get heavy resistances. That's pretty solid. So we'll have to see how she shakes out. Good to be able to get copies on a good banner for her. Chevreuse is an amazing character. She is great at Constellation 0, very usable, very serviceable, and she gets a pretty solid ability at Constellation 6. So if you're wishing on these banners, now's your chance to pick up some additional constellations and go for that C6. Now don't wish for 4 stars. Go for the 5-star, and if you happen to get copies, you're doing great. Rosaria is a support. She can be built as a DPS, but her numbers, she's a 4-star. Primarily though, she's a great cryo applicator. She's a great battery. Throw a Favonius Lance on her, and she generates a lot of energy. Applies cryo pretty consistently. Has a really short skill timer. and is quite useful for that. It has a crit transferability as well. Very easy to build. And notably, both Chivrus and Rosaria do like that Favonius lance as well if you picked it up from the previous weapon banner. So all in all, pretty good 4-star banner on phase 2. Let's take a look at the weapon banner. Ooh, okay. So we have the 5 stars, the polearm for Arlecchino, and the sword Absolution for Clorinde, but the 4 stars are pretty grim. We've got Sacrificial Bow, Lion's Roar, Lithic Spear, and Rain Slasher along with the Widsith. Widsith is great. Get a copy at R5, level it up. It's an amazing catalyst. Universally useful on pretty much anyone who uses a catalyst. You should have one on your account and level it, unless you have a whole bunch of 5-star DPS catalysts. Sacrificial Bow works great on Diona. It can be used in a pinch on other characters, but I wouldn't generally recommend it because we do get a Favonius bow for free. But having a Sacrificial Bow for Diona is a pretty good choice. I don't recommend Lion's Roar because that sword has been largely replaced by the Fontaine Craftable, which you can get to Refinement 5, the Finale of the Deep. Gives a better passive, a better bonus. And then the Lithic Spear, again, suffers from Liwa alignment, and for anyone who'd want to use a polearm, if they're from Liwa anyway, you're probably looking at the likes of Xiangling or Hu Tao, in which case you're going to probably have a Dragon's Bane or use the Catch or something similar. Or a nicer weapon. And finally, the Rain Slasher. It's fine for Beto in a pinch if you don't have something better, a 5-star something or another, but it gives a Hydro and Electro boost as well as Elemental Mastery, and it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't be in a rush to level it up. There are some alternatives out there, but definitely, yeah, it's not the worst thing. It's not Lion's Roar. Let's put it that way. And then, of course, we have the Chronicled Wish, which the last time that there was a Chronicled Wish, it was only available for the first phase. We don't know. I haven't seen the release for what the schedule will be for this Chronicled Wish. Hopefully it's for the entire patch. But we've got Jade Cutter, some of the Summit Shaper weapons, Memory of Dust, Calamity Queller, of course, Jade Ring Spear, and Baiju's Donut. Interesting, they didn't put Baiju's Donut underneath of him. Now, warning for those who don't know, these characters on the Chronicled Wish probably not going to be the most powerful, right? They're not going to change your game in a way like getting a Constellation 2 Arlecchino would. These characters are here for a reason, probably because they're not planning on rerunning them. So now is your chance if you want to get them in the next wee little while. It could be a long time before we've seen them again. It's been nearly 2 years for Shenhe, so I'm going to be wishing for Shenhe myself, but it's not for power, right? There are many alternatives to some of these characters. With Clorinde, you essentially wouldn't need or have a use for Keqing unless you really like Keqing. And the same goes for some of the buffers, right? So Shenhe is she's a great buffer. She does amazing, but we have alternatives. We have the likes of Shilonen now to Res Shred, which effectively can give a power up. Kind of a similar thing, the way that the Icy Quills empower, along with the likes of Farina giving the damage bonus. So there's many different ways to build teams, and these are pretty niche use cases. So be careful if you are wishing on the Chronicled Wish. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are on the 4 stars, these banners, Lantern Rite, the weapon banners, and let me know who you're going to wish for in the comments. We will be live on Patch Day on both YouTube and on Twitch. We'll be doing some viewer summons, so if you're interested in that, check the community post for details. There's a Discord link in my profile as well. Join the Discord link, message me there, and we will do some viewer summons on Patch Day. So yeah, do let me know who you're looking forward to, and I want to thank you for watching. If you're not already, please go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone.